A teenage boy named Adebayo spends his days ringing the bell at the local church. Though he's tasked with this duty, it's never just a job for him. It's a form of solace and a moment of personal reflection. On a bright Sunday morning, as the bell tolls, Adebayo catches a glimpse of Amara, the chief's daughter, walking with grace toward the church. He is captivated by her beauty, though he's aware of the deep divide between their social standings. As the service begins, Adebayo watches from his position in the tower, and his heart beats faster. He knows that Amara is promised to another man, but her presence ignites a forbidden curiosity in him. His feelings are a mix of admiration and frustration, knowing that his position in the village, as a humble bell ringer, makes any romantic pursuit with her seem impossible. Amara's eyes often wander to the bell tower during services, intrigued by the boy who rings the bell with such reverence. One day, after church, she finds herself near the tower, and their paths cross. Adebayo is surprised when Amara stops and speaks to him. She compliments him on his ability to ring the bell so well, and they engage in a brief conversation. The dialogue is polite but brief, and Adebayo remains respectful, knowing their worlds don't mix. Over the next few weeks, their encounters grow more frequent. Amara begins to visit the church more often, seemingly under the guise of seeking spiritual peace. But each time, she shares a few words with Adebayo. Slowly, a bond begins to form, though neither of them dares to acknowledge the feelings stirring deep within. Amara finds solace in their conversations, and Adebayo treasures the attention of someone so high above his station. Neither fully understands the depth of their connection, but both sense that something is changing. Adebayo's attraction to Amara deepens with every passing moment. He becomes preoccupied with thoughts of her, unable to focus on his chores or schoolwork. Despite the growing tension, he remains silent, aware that speaking his feelings would not only jeopardize his job, but also risk disgrace for both of them. Amara too becomes more drawn to Adebayo, finding comfort in his gentle nature and the kindness he shows her. One evening, as she leaves the church after service, Amara catches Adebayo by surprise by inviting him to the garden at the back of the church. It's a private space, and their conversation is more intimate than ever before. Amara confides in Adebayo about the weight of her responsibilities as the chief's daughter, and the pressures she faces to marry well and uphold family honor. Adebayo listens quietly, feeling the sorrow in her voice. Neither of them dares to speak of their growing feelings, but the air between them is thick with unspoken words. On one fateful day, Adebayo decides to venture out of the village for some quiet reflection. He takes a path by the river, away from prying eyes. Much to his shock, he stumbles upon Amara in the same spot, seemingly lost in thought. Her beauty is unmatched in the soft glow of the afternoon sun, and as she turns and sees him, there's a moment of awkwardness, followed by a soft laugh. She admits that she often comes to this spot to escape her responsibilities. Adebayo feels a strange calm wash over him as they sit together by the river, sharing stories of their childhoods and dreams for the future. It's the first time they are truly alone, and for the first time, both feel the weight of their emotions. The realization hits them both. This connection is dangerous, forbidden by the very nature of their worlds. But the pull between them grows stronger, making it impossible to ignore. The tension in the village is palpable. As the chief's daughter, Amara is expected to marry someone of noble lineage, one who can help the chief maintain his power. The villagers frequently remind her of her duty to her family and the expectations placed upon her. Adebayo, meanwhile, is painfully aware of his position. He's a poor boy with no prospects and no power, just a bell ringer in the village church. To pursue a relationship with Amara would be to defy centuries of tradition. Amara is torn. She knows her duty to her family, but she cannot ignore the growing feelings she has for Adebayo. The bond they share feels natural and right, but at the same time, it feels like a betrayal. Her heart aches at the thought of a future without him, but her loyalty to her family weighs heavily on her. This inner conflict becomes her daily torment as she grapples with what it means to love someone when tradition and duty dictate otherwise. As Amara and Adebayo's secret bond deepens, whispers begin to circulate through the village. The villagers notice that the two have become quite close, and rumors begin to spread about the nature of their interactions. Some say they have already fallen in love, while others speculate that Amara may be rebelling against her father's wishes. The gossip reaches the ears of Amara's family, and her father, the chief, becomes suspicious of her activities. Despite the growing rumors, Amara and Adebayo continue to meet in secret. Their connection becomes even more intense, though they both know that the walls closing in around them are growing higher. Adebayo worries about the consequences of their love, while Amara struggles to balance her heart with her family's expectations. The inevitable moment arrives when Amara's father, the chief, confronts her about the rumors he has heard. He questions her about her relationship with Adebayo and demands that she explain herself. Amara is caught off guard, her heart pounding in her chest. She tries to explain that Adebayo is just a friend, but the chief sees through her words and senses the truth. He warns her that her actions are jeopardizing not only her future, but also the reputation of their family. The chief's stern gaze fills her with fear, and she knows that the consequences of defying him will be severe. The conversation ends with her father making it clear that any further contact with Adebayo will not be tolerated, and Amara is left to grapple with the fear of losing both her love and her family. After her father's warning, Amara and Adebayo are forced to distance themselves. The pain of their separation is almost unbearable for both, but Amara knows she must obey her father's commands to avoid greater consequences. Adebayo spends his days lost in thought, torn between respecting Amara's family and following his heart. Meanwhile, Amara endures a growing sense of isolation, unable to confide in anyone about her inner turmoil. One day, while walking through the village, Amara spots Adebayo from a distance. Their eyes meet for a fleeting moment, and though they remain silent, the unspoken bond between them is clear. It's a painful reminder of what they can no longer have. As Amara continues on her way, a sense of longing fills her, and she wonders if there is any way out of this torment. The chief, sensing the growing attachment between his daughter and Adebayo, makes a bold move to separate them permanently. He arranges a marriage proposal with a prominent village leader's son, a man he believes will secure Amara's future and preserve the family's reputation. When Amara learns of the arrangement, she is devastated. She's forced to face the reality that her feelings for Adebayo have no place in the life her father has planned for her. Despite her protests, Amara's father insists that she must comply with the marriage arrangement. He reminds her that her role is to support the family's legacy, not to indulge in selfish desires. Though her heart aches, Amara knows that resisting will only lead to further punishment. She reluctantly agrees, but the thought of a future without Adebayo fills her with sorrow. In the midst of her impending arranged marriage, Amara receives a letter from Adebayo. It's a simple note, but the words carry a weight of longing and hope. In the letter, Adebayo confesses his love for her and expresses his desire to fight for their future, despite the obstacles. The letter reignites a spark in Amara's heart, but she knows that their love is still forbidden. Amara reads the letter over and over, unsure of what to do next. The fear of her father's wrath is strong, but the love she feels for Adebayo is undeniable. She wonders if there is a way to follow her heart without completely destroying her relationship with her family. Though the path ahead seems impossible, Amara dares to dream of a life where she and Adebayo can be together. One evening, Amara defies her father's orders and secretly meets with Adebayo at the river. Their hearts are full of emotion as they talk about their futures, their fears, and their love for each other. It's a brief but powerful moment where they reconnect, reaffirming their bond. Amara knows that she's risking everything, but she cannot deny the pull she feels toward Adebayo. During their meeting, they make a plan to escape the village together, hoping to find a place where they can live freely without the constraints of tradition. The idea of running away fills them both with excitement and fear, but it's the only option they see if they are to be together. They part ways with heavy hearts, knowing that their love is a fragile thing, but determined to make it work. Amara and Adebayo prepare for their escape, each facing their own struggles. Amara must deceive her family and avoid the watchful eyes of the village, while Adebayo quietly gathers what he needs for the journey. The day they plan to leave arrives, and the tension is almost unbearable. As they meet at the edge of the village, their hearts race with both fear and anticipation. With one final look at the village they've known their entire lives, they flee into the night. The journey is long and difficult, but the promise of freedom and a life together fuels their determination. The road ahead is uncertain, but they are willing to face whatever challenges come their way, knowing that they have each other. Amara and Adebayo arrive at a neighboring village, far from the reach of her father's influence. They are exhausted, but their spirits are lifted by the thought of starting anew. In this strange place, they find refuge with kind strangers who offer them shelter and food. For the first time in weeks, Amara feels a sense of peace, though she knows the risks are far from over. In the quiet of their new home, Amara and Adebayo begin to build a life together. They work hard to establish themselves, taking on humble jobs to support their new life. Though they are far from the comforts they once knew, the love they share gives them strength. They know that the challenges are far from over, but for the first time, they are free to pursue their dreams without fear. Just as Amara and Adebayo begin to settle into their new life, a shadow from their past looms large. The chief, having discovered their escape, arrives in the village, demanding that they return. He threatens to destroy the lives of anyone who shelters them, and his fury is evident. The peaceful life Amara and Adebayo have begun to build is suddenly threatened, and they are forced to make a difficult choice: return to their old lives or face the wrath of the chief. Amara feels torn. She knows that returning would mean a life of submission and heartbreak, but the thought of causing harm to the kind villagers who have taken them in is unbearable. The couple must decide if their love is worth fighting for, or if they must sacrifice it all to ensure the safety of those around them. Amara and Adebayo face a pivotal moment. They decide to stand firm in their love, despite the consequences. They confront the chief, telling him that they will not return to the village, and that their love is worth more than the traditions he holds dear. The chief is enraged, but the couple's resolve is unshakable. In a final act of defiance, Amara and Adebayo choose to leave the village entirely, never to return. The chief, unable to break their spirits, finally relents. Though they may face hardships ahead, Amara and Adebayo are free to live as they choose, knowing that their love has triumphed over tradition. Amara and Adebayo leave the village, knowing that their future is uncertain but filled with hope. The road ahead is long and filled with danger, but they are determined to carve out a life together. The journey takes them through dense forests, across rushing rivers, and over vast plains. They are constantly on the move, staying one step ahead of those who might seek to bring them back to the village. Along the way, they meet travelers who share stories of distant lands, offering brief moments of solace and camaraderie. Amara and Adebayo listen intently, fascinated by the possibility of a life outside the confines of their homeland. They realize that they are no longer bound by the traditions that once held them captive, and they begin to dream of a future where they can be truly free. As the days turn into weeks, Amara begins to struggle with the harsh realities of their new life. The journey is exhausting, and the freedom they sought comes with its own set of challenges. They face hunger, exhaustion, and uncertainty, and the weight of their decision begins to take its toll on Amara's spirit. She questions whether their love is worth the hardship, and if the freedom they sought is truly worth the cost. Adebayo notices the change in her, and his heart aches. He reassures her that they are in this together, that their love is worth every sacrifice. He reminds her of the joy they felt when they first decided to run away, and the promise they made to each other to never look back. Though Amara is still unsure, Adebayo's words give her the strength to keep moving forward. Amara and Adebayo arrive at a bustling city, where life seems both vibrant and overwhelming. The city is filled with people from all walks of life, and the opportunities for a new beginning are endless. For the first time since their escape, they feel the possibility of a fresh start, away from the watchful eyes of the village. They find work in a small market, where they begin to rebuild their lives from the ground up. Adebayo works as a carpenter, and Amara takes on a role as a seamstress. The work is hard, but it provides them with enough to survive. As they settle into the rhythms of their new life, they realize that the freedom they sought has come with its own set of challenges, but they are determined to face them together. Despite their new life in the city, Amara and Adebayo are still haunted by their past. One day, a familiar face from the village appears in the marketplace. One of Amara's cousins, who has come to find her. The cousin warns them that the chief is still searching for them, and that the villagers are growing restless. The news is a sharp reminder that their past will always follow them, no matter how far they run. Amara is filled with fear at the thought of the chief discovering their whereabouts. The memories of the life they left behind threaten to undo the peace they've worked so hard to build. But Adebayo, ever the optimist, assures her that they will face whatever comes their way. Together they devise a plan to stay one step ahead of their pursuers, determined to protect their newfound life. As the days pass, Amara begins to notice that someone is following them. At first, it's small things: footsteps in the distance, a figure in the crowd. But soon, the presence grows undeniable. One evening, as they walk home from the market, they are confronted by a group of men sent by the chief. The men demand that Amara return to the village, threatening harm to Adebayo if she refuses. Amara is filled with fear and anger. She refuses to go back, but the situation is dire. Adebayo steps forward, ready to defend her, and the confrontation escalates. The tension in the air is palpable, but before things can spiral further, a mysterious figure intervenes. The stranger, who turns out to be an old friend of Adebayo's family, offers them refuge and helps them escape the immediate danger. The mysterious stranger, named Kofi, leads Amara and Adebayo to a hidden sanctuary in the outskirts of the city. Kofi is a former soldier, well versed in the ways of survival and protection. He offers them a place to stay, along with guidance on how to avoid detection by the chief's men. Kofi's wisdom and experience provide a sense of security that Amara and Adebayo had long been missing. As they settle into the sanctuary, Kofi shares his own story of defying authority and living outside the constraints of tradition. He teaches them how to navigate the city's underworld, and how to blend in with the people who have rejected the systems of power that control their lives. With Kofi's help, Amara and Adebayo begin to feel a renewed sense of hope. Despite their best efforts to remain hidden, the chief's men return to the city, determined to find Amara and Adebayo. The city is vast, but word travels quickly, and soon the entire marketplace is abuzz with the search for the runaway couple. Amara and Adebayo realize that their time in the city is running out, and they must once again flee before they are caught. Kofi, ever resourceful, helps them prepare for their escape. He provides them with new identities and false papers that will allow them to travel through the city without attracting attention. As they prepare to leave, Amara and Adebayo share one final, tearful farewell with Kofi, thanking him for his help. They know that they owe him their lives, and they vow to return the favor one day. The day of their escape arrives, and Amara and Adebayo slip through the city's crowded streets, hoping to avoid detection. The chief's men are everywhere, but with their new identities, they are able to blend in. As they approach the city's gates, they encounter a group of guards who question them, but they manage to pass through undetected. The relief they feel as they leave the city is overwhelming. However, as they walk into the wilderness, they know that their journey is far from over. They are free for now, but they have no destination, no plan for the future. The uncertainty of their path weighs heavily on them, but they are determined to remain together, no matter the cost. As Amara and Adebayo continue their journey, they realize that they have not only escaped the chief's rule, but they have also left behind everything they once knew: family, friends, and the village that shaped them. They are alone in a vast, unknown world, and the road ahead is daunting. But through it all, their love remains their greatest strength. They find themselves in a small, remote village, where they begin to rebuild their lives once again. Though the village is humble, it offers a sense of peace and safety that they have longed for. Amara and Adebayo work hard, grateful for the second chance they've been given. They know that the challenges will continue, but they are no longer afraid. Together, they will face whatever the future holds. In this new village, Amara and Adebayo begin to plant roots. They buy a small piece of land and start a farm, using the skills they've learned on their journey. The work is hard, but it provides them with a sense of purpose and stability. As the seasons pass, they find themselves growing stronger, not just as individuals, but as a couple. Amara begins to heal from the trauma of her past, and Adebayo finds fulfillment in his role as both protector and provider. Though their life is humble, it is theirs, and for the first time in a long while, they feel at peace. They are no longer defined by their social status or their family's expectations. They are free to live their own lives, on their own terms. As time passes, Amara and Adebayo begin to build a life that they once only dreamed of. The farm flourishes, and they start to gain a sense of belonging in their new community. Though they remain outsiders, the villagers are kind and supportive, recognizing the couple's hard work and sincerity. Amara and Adebayo slowly begin to form friendships, feeling more at home with each passing day. Adebayo and Amara's love for each other only grows deeper, and they begin to talk about the future. They dream of having children and creating a family of their own, one that will not be bound by the traditions that once held them captive. For the first time since their escape, Amara feels a sense of true happiness, knowing that she is finally building the life she always desired, not just for herself, but for the family she hopes to have. One afternoon, as Amara and Adebayo are tending to their crops, a familiar face from the past appears on the horizon. It is a member of Amara's family, a distant cousin who has come to find her. The cousin reveals that the chief has been growing increasingly desperate to bring her back, offering a large reward for anyone who can find and return her. The news sends a chill through Amara. She thought she had escaped her father's reach forever, but now, it seems that her past is catching up with her once again. Adebayo senses her fear and reassures her that they will not let anything tear them apart. But Amara knows that their lives will never be entirely free of the shadow of the chief's power. The threat of the chief's pursuit looms over them as they realize that they cannot remain hidden forever. Though they have found safety in this small village, Amara and Adebayo know that the chief's reach extends far beyond the village's borders. They begin to plan for their next move. What will they do if the chief's men come for them again? They decide to seek out a more remote location where they can live without fear of being discovered. The thought of leaving the village they have grown to love is heartbreaking, but they know it is the only way to secure their future. As they pack their belongings and prepare for the next chapter of their journey, they feel a mixture of dread and hope. The road ahead may be uncertain, but they are ready to face it together. As the days pass, the couple begins to receive subtle warnings from the villagers that the chief's men are getting closer. The once peaceful village they had grown to love is no longer a safe haven. The chief's men are rumored to be scouring the countryside, asking questions and searching for clues about Amara and Adebayo's whereabouts. Realizing that they cannot wait for the chief to close in on them, Amara and Adebayo make the bold decision to leave immediately. They plan their departure under the cover of night, leaving behind the life they had built together. With heavy hearts, they say their goodbyes to the few friends they've made, knowing that they will likely never return. Amara and Adebayo set out once again, this time with the goal of finding a truly secluded life, far from the reach of the chief. They travel through dense forests and barren lands, always on the move and constantly looking over their shoulders. The fear of being discovered is ever present, but it only strengthens their resolve to protect their love and their future. During this journey, they find moments of joy, like when they discover a hidden waterfall deep in the forest, or when they share simple meals by the firelight. These small moments remind them that despite the uncertainty, they have each other, and that is enough to face whatever challenges lie ahead. Weeks into their journey, Amara and Adebayo arrive at a small coastal town, nestled against the edge of a vast ocean. They believe they have finally escaped the chief's grasp, but their hopes are soon dashed when, one evening, they encounter a group of travelers who know them. Among them is an old acquaintance from the village, a childhood friend of Amara's, who recognizes her immediately. The encounter is tense. Amara and Adebayo are afraid that this old friend might reveal their whereabouts to the chief's men, but to their surprise, the friend is sympathetic to their plight. She shares that the chief is no longer actively pursuing them, as his focus has shifted to other matters. Relieved, Amara and Adebayo realize that they may have finally outrun their past. The coastal town offers a fresh start for Amara and Adebayo. The people there are open-minded and kind, and they are able to begin a new chapter of their lives without fear of being constantly hunted. Amara opens a small shop, selling handmade goods, and Adebayo begins working with the fishermen, learning the trade and earning a steady income. As the seasons pass, Amara and Adebayo fall deeper in love with their new life. They dream of building a home by the sea, where they can raise children away from the pressures of their former lives. For the first time since their escape, they feel truly at peace. They realize that though the journey was long and difficult, they have finally found a place where they can be free to live as they choose. One day, as Amara and Adebayo walk along the beach, they are greeted by a familiar face. It is Amara's younger brother, who has managed to find his way to the town. He tells them that their father, the chief, has passed away, and that the family has begun to heal from the years of tension and fear. Amara is both relieved and saddened by the news. She realizes that her father's death marks the end of an era in her life, and that she is finally free from the weight of his expectations. Her brother shares that he has come to seek her forgiveness, and he expresses his desire to rebuild their relationship. Amara is hesitant at first, unsure if she can ever fully forgive the past. But as they talk, she begins to see that her family has changed, and that it may be possible to heal the wounds of the past. After much consideration, Amara and Adebayo decide to return to the village, not out of obligation, but out of a desire to confront their past and make peace with it. They return to the familiar roads and homes, but this time, they are no longer the same people who fled years ago. They are stronger, wiser, and unburdened by the expectations that once held them captive. The villagers greet them with mixed emotions, some with open arms and others with skepticism. But Amara and Adebayo stand tall, knowing that they have nothing to prove to anyone but themselves. They rebuild their relationship with the village slowly, forging new connections and rebuilding old ones. Amara and Adebayo, now back in their village, begin to lay the foundation for the life they've always wanted. They marry, surrounded by their friends and the villagers who have accepted them. Their wedding is simple but filled with love, and it marks the beginning of a new chapter for the couple. Together they work to bring positive change to the village. They challenge the old ways of thinking and encourage others to follow their hearts, just as they did. Their love story becomes a symbol of defiance against the constraints of tradition, and a testament to the power of following one's heart, no matter the cost. Amara and Adebayo's return to the village begins to spark subtle shifts in the way the community operates. They are no longer just a couple running from their past, but individuals who have built a new future, one grounded in love, respect, and freedom. Slowly, the villagers begin to see the power of their choices, and some even approach them for guidance. Though the changes are small at first, Amara and Adebayo become catalysts for a broader rethinking of tradition. Some of the younger villagers, inspired by their courage, begin to question the old norms that dictated their lives. The elders are cautious but not dismissive, recognizing that the world is changing and that perhaps it is time for a new approach. Amara and Adebayo, though not actively seeking to lead a revolution, have begun to plant the seeds of a more inclusive and progressive future. Several years pass, and Amara and Adebayo's love only grows stronger. One day, Amara discovers that she is pregnant. The news fills them both with immense joy and a renewed sense of purpose. This child, they know, will represent everything they've fought for, a future not constrained by the past, a new life built on love and equality. As Amara's pregnancy progresses, the couple prepares for the arrival of their child. They build a new home by the edge of the village, where they can raise their family in peace. The entire village, witnessing the couple's transformation from runaways to pillars of the community, supports them. The birth of their child is a joyous occasion, marking a turning point in the village's history, a moment of reconciliation between the old and the new. Though Amara's father, the chief, has passed away, his legacy continues to cast a shadow over the village. Some of the old ways still hold sway, and the influence of his family is still felt, especially among the older generation. For Amara, this is a challenge she knows she must confront, not just for herself, but for her child. Determined to heal the wounds left by her father's oppressive rule, Amara sets out to speak with the elders of the village. She asks them to honor her father's memory, not for the power he once held, but for the wisdom he may have gained through the years. She does not seek to erase his legacy, but to reshape it into something that can benefit future generations. It is a difficult conversation, but the elders listen, and slowly, they begin to reconsider their stance. The old ways are not easily discarded, but they acknowledge that Amara's request comes from a place of healing and a desire for progress. It is a small victory, but a victory nonetheless. Over time, the changes Amara and Adebayo have inspired begin to take hold in the village. While the younger generation embraces the idea of freedom and choice, the older generation begins to see the wisdom in letting go of some of the rigid traditions. The village becomes a place where love, equality, and individual freedom are celebrated, and where the voices of the younger generation are heard alongside the wisdom of the elders. Amara and Adebayo's story is no longer just theirs. It has become a part of the village's narrative. Their journey from rebellion to reconciliation, from fear to freedom, serves as a beacon of hope for others who might feel trapped by the weight of tradition. The village, once divided by its past, is now united in its vision of a better future. A future where love and choice are not only accepted, but celebrated. As Amara and Adebayo continue to build their family and their legacy, they become deeply involved in the day-to-day affairs of the village. They help organize community events, teach the younger generation about their values of love and respect, and assist in resolving conflicts that arise. They are no longer outsiders. They have become integral members of the community. Their home becomes a gathering place for those who seek advice, or simply want to share a meal and a laugh. The couple's unwavering commitment to each other and to the community inspires others to follow their example. They are living proof that love, when nurtured, can bring about profound change, not just in individuals but in entire communities. The impact of Amara and Adebayo's choices continues to reverberate throughout the village. Young couples who had once feared defying tradition now find the courage to marry for love, not for convenience or familial obligation. People are starting to challenge the expectations placed on them, seeking to build lives of their own design rather than conform to the roles society has assigned them. The ripples of change extend beyond the village, reaching neighboring towns and even other communities. Amara and Adebayo's story becomes a symbol of resistance, a testament to the power of love to transcend barriers and defy expectations. They may have started as two young people running away from tradition, but they have become leaders in a movement that seeks to redefine what it means to live a life of freedom. As Amara and Adebayo grow older, they begin to reflect on the legacy they will leave behind. Their child, now a young adult, shares their values and dreams for a more inclusive and open society. The child, raised with love and freedom, becomes a beacon of hope for the next generation, a living testament to the sacrifices Amara and Adebayo made to build a better life. Amara and Adebayo's bond is stronger than ever, and they find peace in knowing that they have not only built a life together, but a legacy that will continue to inspire future generations. Their love, their strength, and their courage have changed the course of history in their village, and their story will live on for years to come. Years later, as Amara and Adebayo sit together on the porch of their home, watching the sun set over the village they helped to transform, they are filled with a sense of fulfillment. The challenges they faced, fear, rejection, and the burden of tradition, have shaped them into the people they are today. They have built a life rich in love and purpose, and their journey, though difficult, has led them to a place of peace. Their child, now an adult, stands beside them, ready to carry forward the legacy of love and freedom that Amara and Adebayo started so many years ago. The story that began with a bell ringing in the village church has come full circle, with love at its heart and a community forever changed. As the village flourishes under the changes initiated by Amara and Adebayo, new faces begin to arrive from nearby towns and villages. Word of the couple's journey and the transformation of the community spreads, drawing people seeking refuge from oppressive traditions and those looking to build new lives. Some are young couples who long to marry for love, while others are families looking for a fresh start. The village, once small and quiet, becomes a vibrant hub of activity. With each new arrival, the village grows more diverse, and the values of love, freedom, and community are reinforced. Amara and Adebayo welcome the newcomers with open arms, offering them the guidance and support they once needed themselves. The couple is proud of the village they have helped build, knowing that their story continues to inspire those who seek a life of peace and love. While the village is thriving, not everyone in the surrounding regions shares the same progressive values. Some of the neighboring communities view the changes in Amara and Adebayo's village with suspicion and fear. The elders of these villages see the spread of these new ideas as a threat to their long-held traditions and power structures. One evening, a group of elders from a nearby village arrives at Amara and Adebayo's home, seeking an audience. They are wary but curious about the changes they've heard of, and they want to understand whether this new way of life is a passing trend or something that could spread beyond Amara and Adebayo's village. The couple meets with them respectfully, sharing their story and vision for the future, but a tension lingers in the air. The elders leave with unresolved questions, and Amara and Adebayo can sense that their influence may not be entirely welcomed everywhere. In the days following the elders' visit, rumors begin to circulate that some of the neighboring villages are planning to confront Amara and Adebayo's village. They see the spread of their values as a direct challenge to their own established systems. While most villagers are confident in the changes they've made, some are beginning to feel nervous about the future. Amara and Adebayo recognize the potential threat, and they meet with the village leaders to discuss how to approach the situation. They are determined not to let fear dictate their choices, but they understand that their community may be vulnerable to backlash. They begin to strengthen their alliances with neighboring villages that share their values, hoping to create a coalition that can stand strong against any opposition. Meanwhile, their child, now a young adult, steps forward to take a more active role in the village's leadership, eager to carry on the work that their parents began. Amara and Adebayo realize that the time has come for the next generation to lead, and they embrace the new energy and ideas that their child brings to the table. As the tensions between Amara and Adebayo's village and the neighboring communities grow, the day of reckoning arrives. A large group of elders and leaders from the opposing villages comes to Amara and Adebayo's village, demanding that they abandon their new way of life. They accuse Amara and Adebayo of corrupting the youth and undermining the traditions that have sustained their communities for generations. Amara and Adebayo stand firm. They understand the weight of the moment and the deep-rooted fears that these elders carry. But they are also clear in their own beliefs. The values they have championed are not a threat, but an opportunity for growth. They assert that tradition and progress need not be in opposition, that it is possible to honor the past while also embracing the future. The confrontation is intense, and the outcome uncertain. Yet Amara and Adebayo's calm determination begins to sway some of the elders. Slowly, others in the opposing group begin to speak up in support of the changes. It is a tense and volatile moment, but one that marks the turning point in their struggle to redefine the future. The debate over the future of the village continues for several months, but the seeds of change are taking root. Amara and Adebayo's unwavering belief in the power of love and community begins to win over the hearts of the people, even among some of the more conservative elders. Slowly, the village becomes a bridge between the old ways and the new, where both can coexist in harmony. The younger generation, inspired by the stories of Amara and Adebayo's courage, begins to step up as leaders in their own right. They form committees to address the needs of the community, creating programs that bridge the gap between traditional values and modern ideas. They recognize that progress doesn't mean abandoning their history. It means evolving it in a way that serves everyone. Amara and Adebayo, now in their later years, find joy in seeing the younger generation take charge. Their legacy is not just in the choices they made, but in the leadership they inspired in others. Years pass, and the village continues to grow and thrive. The tension between old and new is no longer a source of division, but a driving force behind the village's evolution. Amara and Adebayo are content, knowing that the love they fought for has not only shaped their lives, but has become the foundation for future generations. Their home, once a quiet refuge, is now a place where the entire community gathers. There is laughter, celebration, and sharing values that have transcended tradition and have become universal. Amara and Adebayo's love, tested by time and circumstance, is now seen as a symbol of hope and resilience. As they grow older, they continue to support each other, taking comfort in the knowledge that their story will live on. Their child, now a respected leader in the community, continues the work they started, passing on the lessons of love, freedom, and courage to a new generation. Amara and Adebayo are nearing the end of their journey, but their impact is far-reaching. The village has become a model for other communities, a place where the balance between tradition and progress is carefully nurtured. The values they instilled in their children have become a guiding force for the entire region. Their child, now a leader in their own right, takes the torch and carries it forward. The changes that Amara and Adebayo sparked have grown into a movement, and their legacy of love, freedom, and progress continues to inspire those who follow. As the sun sets on Amara and Adebayo's life, they find solace in knowing that the love they fought for has become a permanent part of the world they've built. Their story, once a quiet rebellion, has transformed into a legacy that will endure for generations to come. Amara and Adebayo's child, now fully grown and a respected leader within the village, has taken on the mantle of guiding the community with the same values their parents instilled in them. The younger generation is flourishing under their leadership, as they balance the teachings of the past with the vision for a more inclusive and harmonious future. The village is experiencing a new wave of prosperity. The focus on education, equality, and collaboration has made the once traditional village a place of progressive thought. As Amara and Adebayo watch their child lead with the same compassion and determination that defined their own journey, they feel a deep sense of fulfillment. They know that the legacy they built has not only endured but is growing into something even greater. With their child at the helm, they feel confident that the village will continue to thrive, no longer bound by the constraints of outdated traditions, but empowered by the collective dreams of a united community. The old fears and divisions that once threatened to tear them apart are now distant memories. One day, as the village celebrates another milestone in its progress, an unexpected visitor arrives. Amara's younger brother. Though they have kept in touch sporadically over the years, the news of his visit brings a mix of emotions for Amara. She has forgiven him for the pain he caused in the past, but the weight of their shared history still lingers. Her brother arrives with news that the neighboring villages, inspired by the changes Amara and Adebayo's village has undergone, are beginning to adopt some of the same principles. The chief's family has recognized the shift in attitudes and has started to embrace more progressive ideas, although cautiously. Amara's brother expresses his gratitude to her for showing the way, noting that even those who once opposed her have softened their stance. The conversation is filled with reflection, as Amara and her brother discuss how much has changed since they last saw each other. The walls of animosity between them, once built on years of fear and control, have crumbled, replaced by a newfound respect and understanding. As the village celebrates the arrival of new opportunities and collaborations, Amara and Adebayo, along with their child, organize a grand feast to commemorate the unity between their village and the neighboring communities. People from all walks of life gather, sharing stories, food, and music, symbolizing the harmonious future that has come to pass. During the feast, Amara and Adebayo take a moment to reflect on their journey. They are surrounded by family, friends, and the generations they have inspired, and they are filled with pride. What began as a quiet, rebellious love story has blossomed into a thriving community that values freedom, love, and progress. Their child, now leading alongside them, speaks to the crowd, sharing the lessons learned from their parents' example. The words spoken that night are filled with gratitude and hope, setting the stage for a future built on cooperation and mutual respect. The celebrations are not just for the achievements of the present, but for the endless possibilities that lie ahead. Amara and Adebayo, now in their later years, decide to build a new home on a hill overlooking the village. The place where they once struggled to survive now holds memories of victory and peace. This new home will be a place where they can rest in their later years, knowing that their work is done and that the community they helped build will continue to thrive. The couple's home becomes a symbol of stability and continuity, and their child, who continues to lead the village, often visits them for counsel. Amara and Adebayo reflect on the beauty of their journey, knowing that their sacrifices have not been in vain. Their vision of a world where love and freedom come first has become a lasting legacy. As they grow older, Amara and Adebayo share quiet moments together, cherishing the love that has withstood so many trials. They find comfort in knowing that their love, once a secret rebellion, has turned into the foundation of a better world for their children and grandchildren. In the final years of their lives, Amara and Adebayo find peace in the love they've cultivated, not only between themselves but within the larger community. They know their time is drawing near, but they are content. The village they helped transform is thriving, and their child, now a wise leader, continues to guide it with the same love and conviction that they once demonstrated. One peaceful evening, Amara and Adebayo sit together on the porch of their home, watching the sun set over the village they helped shape. Hand in hand, they speak softly about their hopes for the future. They know that the world they fought for is in good hands, and that their love will continue to ripple through the generations. As they peacefully pass from this world, they leave behind a legacy of love, freedom, and unity, a world that is now a reflection of the dreams they once dared to chase. Their funeral is not one of sorrow, but of celebration, as the entire village comes together to honor the lives they lived and the change they sparked. With the passing of Amara and Adebayo, their child steps fully into the leadership role they had prepared for them. The village mourns the loss of their beloved founders, but the sense of loss is tempered by the strength of the foundation they built. Their child continues the work their parents started, but now with the wisdom that only experience can offer. As the years go by, the village flourishes even further. The principles of love, equality, and freedom are now woven into the fabric of daily life. The next generation of leaders rises up, inspired by the example set by Amara and Adebayo. What began as a small, rebellious act of love has blossomed into an enduring legacy, creating a ripple effect that spreads far beyond the village's borders. And so, Amara and Adebayo's story is passed down from one generation to the next, not just as a tale of two lovers, but as a powerful reminder that love can change the world, one life, one community, at a time. As the village continues to thrive, the teachings of Amara and Adebayo become the foundation of a new movement that spreads to other villages and towns. The values of love, progress, and community begin to inspire people far beyond their own home, creating a ripple effect that transforms entire regions. Amara and Adebayo's child, now a revered leader, reflects on the journey that their parents embarked upon and realizes that their vision was always more than just about them. It was about creating a world where everyone could find peace, freedom, and love. As new generations rise up, carrying with them the torch of their ancestors' values, the story of Amara and Adebayo's love continues to shine brightly, lighting the way for those who dare to dream of a better, more inclusive world. Amara and Adebayo's story, now ingrained in the hearts of their village, spreads across the region, transforming neighboring communities. Inspired by the peace and unity in their home village, leaders from distant villages begin to seek guidance from the village that Amara and Adebayo helped shape. They wish to understand how to bridge the gap between old traditions and new ideals. The first to arrive is a young leader named Kofi, who has inherited the role of chief in his own village, but struggles with the growing divisions between the younger and older generations. Kofi, like many before him, is curious but uncertain about how to navigate the delicate balance of change. Amara and Adebayo's child, now well-versed in the village's history and legacy, welcomes Kofi and others who come seeking answers. A series of talks and exchanges begins, where ideas flow freely. The village's experience becomes a blueprint for peaceful change, a model for reconciling tradition with progress. As the neighboring villages begin to adopt similar practices, the small spark that began in Amara and Adebayo's hearts ignites a movement that echoes through the entire region. This new alliance between villages begins to change the way neighboring communities interact, with a growing emphasis on mutual respect and shared values. One of the lasting gifts Amara and Adebayo left behind was their commitment to educating the next generation. Their child, now a revered leader, opens a school in the heart of the village, not only to teach academic subjects, but also to instill the principles of unity, love, and respect for all. The school becomes a symbol of the future they had always dreamed of, a place where children are taught not just to read and write, but to think critically, to challenge outdated ideas, and to build relationships based on understanding and mutual respect. The children of the village grow up with a deep sense of responsibility to their community and to the world at large. They learn about their ancestors' struggles and the sacrifices made to create the village they now call home. The curriculum focuses on the importance of community, collaboration, and empathy, helping young minds understand the significance of working together for a common good. Over time, the school becomes a gathering place not only for the village's children, but for young leaders from surrounding villages who come to learn from the examples of Amara and Adebayo. Their teachings shape the future of the region, as new generations rise to carry forward the values of unity and love. Years pass, and the village continues to flourish under the guidance of Amara and Adebayo's child, now a wise elder. The legacy they created has evolved beyond their own village, shaping an entire region and even influencing neighboring lands. The torch of love, freedom, and unity burns brightly, passed from one generation to the next, continuing to illuminate the path toward a more harmonious world. The day comes when the village gathers in a grand celebration to honor the memory of Amara and Adebayo, who laid the foundations of their vibrant, united community. The celebration is not just a remembrance of their love, but a celebration of the endless possibilities that exist when love and respect for all are the guiding principles. Amara and Adebayo's love has become a living legend, a story that transcends generations, inspiring countless others to fight for a better, more inclusive world. Their child, now a respected elder, stands before the gathered villagers and speaks of the legacy left behind. They speak not just of their parents' love, but of the values that continue to shape their lives. They speak of the future, a future where all people, regardless of their background or station, can live in peace, freedom, and love. And so, as the sun sets over the village, casting long shadows across the fields where Amara and Adebayo once walked hand in hand, the eternal flame of love continues to burn, lighting the way for those who dare to dream of a better world.